Hey everybody, welcome back. It's Pastor Ruben, and we are ready to answer a fresh, regular, and extra spicy question that I got from kids in our church. Okay, so this is our regular question for the week. She writes this: are there animals in heaven? Ooh. Okay, I should tell you up front, I don't know a lot about heaven. Because one, I've never been there. And two, the Bible itself actually doesn't talk a lot about heaven. But what it does talk a lot about is God's ultimate plan to build a new heaven and a new earth, to actually bring heaven and earth back together again in one place, one day. Okay, well, what would that look like? Great question, right? Now, the Bible doesn't spell it all out for us, but what it does do is it gives us some amazing word pictures. I'll share two of them with you today. This comes from the book of Revelation, in the very last book of the Bible. We're going to look at Revelation 7 and 5. All right, so the scene here is all around a throne. There's a great, great circle. That's the scene. Let's pick up in Revelation chapter 7. We read, "After this I looked, and there before me was a great multitude, and no one could count them. The multitude was from every nation, tribe, and people, and language, all circled around the throne of God." Okay, keep that picture in mind. Now let's jump to Revelation chapter 5. "Then I heard every creature in heaven, and on earth, and under the earth, and on the sea, and all that is in them, saying, to him who sits on the throne and to the Lamb be praise and honor and glory and power forever and ever." So maybe the question is, in the new heaven and the new earth, do you think that will include animals? Regular question. Are you ready for some spice? Okay, are you ready? Let's do this. Okay, this little boy writes, "Why is the world so messed up and hard?" Just reading that question, knowing this came from a real kid in our community, you feel it. I think we all understand kind of that feeling and what he's talking about, right? I think we all know what he's talking about because it's not hard to find evidence for this. And I think there are a lot of Christians who think it's very important to remind people very often just how evil our world can be and how bad people can be. I understand why they do it, but I just think that's the easy work. Anybody can do that. I can turn on the news, or I can look at my own life or my family's. The harder work is to look for what is good and what is true that is hiding behind the very real shadows of our world, and to call that out into the light. I think this question actually gives us a great example of how to do that very thing. Did you notice the word he used to describe the world? Messed up, right? Okay, so this reminds me of something I read once from one of my favorite authors. His name is C.S. Lewis, and he's written some great books, including one about a talking lion in a land called Narnia. He wrestled with this very question. Listen to how he said. He said, "My argument against God was that the universe seemed so cruel and unjust." Messed up, right? "But how had I got this idea of just and unjust? A man does not call a line crooked unless he knows what is straight. What was I comparing this universe with when I called it unjust?" So if our world is messed up, can it also be mended? I think as long as there are people like this kid willing to ask great questions like this, I have hope. Because the whole story of Scripture is about a God who goes all the way into the center of our mess and comes out again with glory and hope. Hope that even our greatest mess can be mended in God's kingdom. So until that day, my friends, stay curious and keep asking great questions.